Hey there guys, it's Emil with Gloss Boss, and today we're going to talk about polishing pads. So when it comes to correcting or detailing a car, yacht, or plane, you're going to have to assess the surface and what kind of polishing process you're going to use to correct the surface. So for instance, if you have a super scratched up vehicle, you're going to use a different process than you are a vehicle that freshly came off the lot or brand new right out of the factory floor. So I want to go into some detail to what kind of pads you'll use for the different surfaces and just how to correct the surface properly with these pads so that you too can eventually start to coat like a boss if you don't already. So we're going to talk about a severely scratched vehicle. Say you have a vehicle that's just completely swirled up, it's got marring all through it, maybe some deep scratches. Typically, most of the people in the industry are going to start with the wool. Now you got multiple different wool pads. You got the standard big super buff wool pad, which you can just fly over the vehicle. And these are great for really chopping down a lot of the swirl mark and scratches, but it also leaves its own machine marking and its own machine swirl marks. So it's not a very good finishing pad, but for that real hard etched surface, this is going to be the surefire starting pad to start with. We also have the Shorthair wool pad. So this fits onto your double action polisher, and it's similar to your big wool pad that you use on the rotary, but it's just a little finer and a little less likely to create a serious machine mark, and more so probably better for not the worst case scenario or a super scratch vehicle, more on like your mid-level. It's got some scratches, but you don't want to spend all day trying to cut them out with foam. So you'd use your Shorthair wool pad, or if you wanted to follow up after your big wool pad, you could follow up with this. Then we got multiple different foam pads. So 3M makes a bunch of these waffle style foam pads. The white one is your compound pad. So this is more of your aggressive style foam pad. It's a little harder, and this will allow you to do a lot of cutting and leave minimal machine marks and swirl marks, but it does leave some depending on the polish you use as well. Then you follow up that white foam pad with the black foam pad. Now this is a more lighter duty, more of a finishing style pad, and this will leave even less swirl marks or machine marks, and it produces a very high shine. So in a typical scenario, you might go wool to the white foam to the black foam to another foam pad, which I'm going to show you now. So you have other foam pads, which are for your double action polishers. And so these work, they're very fine duty foam polishing pads. So they're really for the very final touches with the finishing compounds to really feather out any last little machine marks to leave that pristine surface. Now, I also have a couple other pads just to show you just for fun. If you're working in really tight, hard to reach areas, say for instance around a license plate, or if you're on a yacht around some steps, it can be hard to get the big buffer in there or the double action polisher because it just doesn't fit. So you have the mini polisher heads. Now these work great for getting into those little hard to reach areas. And just like before, you got your wool, and then you got your foam, and then you have multiple different foam pads for the different levels of compounds you want to go. And obviously aggressive, less aggressive, and you can go further down the line to pretty much perfection. So those are some of the pads. There's also this cool pad that we're now selling, which is the clay bar pad. You can use this by hand to take any decontamination off the vehicle's surface before you do any sort of polishing. But it also works where you can put it on the double action polisher and you can actually polish with this clay bar. And so it speeds up the clay bar process and it actually does a really good job doing it. So if you follow, the process with using these different pads, and you go from aggressive all the way down to super fine, and you have the proper polishes to do this job with the proper pads, you're going to have a swirl-free, beautiful, immaculate finish, which then obviously you can seal it with nothing but the best, the Gloss Boss ceramic coating. Just trying to help you out, guys, show you a few little tricks. In the next video, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about polishes and the different polishes on the market and how to tell if this polish is going to do what you want it to do. All right, guys, have fun polishing.